Well guys, I finally did it.
Did you get that car on the dyno like you've been telling everybody you were gonna?
Unfortunately, no, that's still coming soon, so don't worry about that.
What about those brake calipers and rotors? Where the hell's that?
No, we haven't did that. That's still on the back burner. It's coming soon, but I haven't done that yet.
What about your hair? Did you cut your hair?
No, not that either, man. My hair is long as hell. That's obviously not done. No. Let me just tell him. Let me tell him. Okay. Who are you, by the way?
You. I'm you.
Okay, regardless, yes. So the big news here today, the reason I'm making this video is I actually went and drove a 2022 Mustang GT here. And I really want to give you guys my experience driving that new GT and how it kind of compares to my E30 tuned Ecoboost. So, my experience on that new GT. Well, first off, this was literally the newest car that I've ever sat in and driven, period. This car had 6 miles on it, 6.5 miles, something like that. And it was in Grabber Blue 2022 Mustang GT with the 401A package, which is outstanding, by the way. I've never been in a car that had that package on it. The seats felt incredible. The steering wheel felt great, and it had the digital display. It had the exhaust modes. There was a lot to like about this car. Granted, the car did MSRP for like $50,000. It's a little bit more expensive than the little Ecoboost we have here. I mean, for that money, that car should drive a billion times better than what my Ecoboost does. But it's really not about that. It's about the characteristics of that V8. And honestly, as a lot of Ecoboost owners I'm sure know, there are tons of folks out there who love to hate on these cars. And quite honestly, it's because it's the lowest in the tier of all the Mustangs in the lineup, right? It's your entry-level model designed for fuel economy, daily driving applications. And so a lot of us Ecoboost owners hear that all the time. You hear the,
"Did you know they make a GT with a V8 in there?" Bro, there's a GT option. Why the Ecoboost?
The list goes on and on. There's a lot of people that say some stuff, and they're usually pretty surprised with this car, at least, when they see that it is an Ecoboost.
It's an Ecoboost.
I think as an Ecoboost owner, you're always trying to compare your car power-wise and justify the mods that you're doing to at least get close to what the GT is stock, or you want to be faster than them. But setting off in the GT, honestly, the first thing that smacks you in the face is the sound. This car in particular had the active exhaust mode, so you could have it in quiet, normal, I believe sport, and track. And honestly, I turned it straight to track. Okay, she definitely goes. Because I'm like, I gotta hear this thing for all it's worth, at least for what the factory gives it. And it did sound good. That was the first thing that really was intoxicating, is the sound. And that's one thing that lacks on the Ecoboost Mustang, is the sound. I mean, it's just what it is. Now, personally, I've never minded, I guess, the sound from my Ecoboost, and I actually kind of like it. Yeehaw! I've come from cars that have always been 4 cylinders. So really, to me, it's nothing different. My last car was a 2010 Volkswagen GTI, and we had a bunch of mods done to that. That was such a fun car, and honestly, if I didn't own the Mustang, I would own another GTI or Golf R in a heartbeat. Those cars are awesome in my eyes. So the 4-cylinder sound never bothered me, but that V8 sound in a Mustang, I mean, it did sound really good. I'm not gonna lie about that. But as we set off in the car, I kind of started giving my driving impressions, and honestly, it wasn't that much different than my Ecoboost. Not as dramatically different from the Ecoboost as I would have thought. Megan, what do you think? Like, that was full throttle.
I don't think it's that much different. I mean, it's a little bit, but not that much.
Like, the sound makes it feel like way different.
Yeah, I know, my ears are ringing a little bit.
It's in track mode, by the way. is pretty fun. I'll give it that. I think it's the sound, guys. You know, because I'm like, and it's freaking brand new. Yeah. I will say, honestly, it's not as dramatically, like the torque doesn't feel dramatically different than the E30, E30 tune on the EcoBoost. Realistically, it really doesn't. I mean, I'm sure I would see the difference if I, was going past 100 miles an hour and I would, it probably just keeps pulling in this thing. But I honestly thought I was gonna be like, holy shit, this thing rips way faster than that EcoBoost does. And from a stock EcoBoost, yeah, it does. I mean, there's no way around it. But with the E30 tune on that car, no. But I will say the sound, it's pretty intoxicating. So I think, honestly, that's probably the biggest thing. You're going after the sound in this car. I don't know, man. It's nice, but I'm not like, I guess I just don't feel like I'm missing that much. And I think that's actually what a lot of EcoBoost owners probably feel like, is that they're really missing out on, not having the GT.
Yeah.
But
I don't necessarily feel a difference either.
I mean, it sounds
it's
way
loud. Yeah.
Yeah. Those were my honest thoughts in the moment. I wasn't blown away as I thought I would be, and I really wanted to be. But if I was coming from a stock EcoBoost, I probably would be. I mean, I know I would be, because that is dramatically different than what this car was when it was stock. So there's that for sure. But coming from the tuned side, there's not a whole lot that I'd be really gaining with going to a GT, besides, I guess, the opportunity to get even more power. When you own an EcoBoost, you almost have it in the back of your head, like you have to prove that your car is worthy compared to the GT, if that makes sense. I know that sounds weird because it's just a car and you really shouldn't have to justify it for anybody else because it's your car, right? But I feel like that's the case, at least in the Mustang community, with the little EcoBoost to the GT. Just kind of what it is. But yes, after driving the GT, I was expecting this thing to just blow my mind. I mean, I really did. I thought that it was gonna be, as soon as I got in it, I heard the rumble, which sounded great. I'll give it that for sure. Sounded great, and I punched it. I thought for sure I was gonna need one. And I was always scared to drive one, not because I was scared to drive a V8, but because I was scared that if I drove one, I would need to have one. That was me putting kind of guards in place. Don't drive it because you'll probably like it and you'll probably want to buy it. That being said, we're comparing a modded EcoBoost to a stock GT. If I take the mods, or the money I put into mods on the EcoBoost and put them into the GT, I mean, yeah, it would walk this thing, I'm sure, right? So if we mod the GT would be faster. More displacement, you put a Whipple on that thing, 700 horsepower or whatever it would be. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to wipe the floor with the EcoBoost, as it should. It really should. I guess what it boils down to was I expected, and my expectations were up here. What I got was right here. And my EcoBoost gets me here. So, I don't know. I thought that I was going to be just blown away, but I'm really curious, what do you guys think? I mean, if you own an EcoBoost, have you driven a GT? What are your thoughts, If it was a stock EcoBoost, like I said, to a stock GT, I mean, the GT blows it out of the water, and it should, because it has more power, it has more torque. It just should for a stock EcoBoost, right? So I really want to hear what you guys think. This is just my little, I guess, experience video here as I drove both cars and kind of get to see what I really like and what I don't. And not to say I don't like the GT, because I do, but I don't feel that inner compulsion anymore to be like, you know what, after this EcoBoost, I gotta go get a GT because that's what everyone says you should do. I don't really feel like that anymore. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video and my explanation on how I felt when I drove that GT and compared to my EcoBoost. Honestly, if you got a tuned EcoBoost and it's running on E30, I don't think it's that big of a jump, guys. Honestly, the sound is where it's at with the GT. Cannot knock that. It is a great sound. But as far as performance-wise, especially around town, there's not a whole lot that I can say for that, you know? Maybe if I drove it longer and I really pushed it, you know, on the highway and we got into those triple-digit numbers, then I think so. But for your city driving and all the fun around town you can handle, the EcoBoost, especially on E30, is a super fun little ride. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts down below. And of course, I will catch you guys in the next video. You guys have a great day. And if I don't speak with you before the holidays, have a great Christmas as well. And we'll see you in the new year. Bye.
Huh. Well, that was pretty good. I think I'll like this video and subscribe. That was good.